Another drive around Phuket with a bit of a rant about, well, waking up to flat earth and all the other delusions that enslave the public mind, collective. Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it? Yeah. I won't be able to look at the chat because I'm driving. Don't have my glasses on either. So this old fogey is just going to rant away. And you're welcome to chat amongst yourselves and maybe ask a few questions, and I can get back to you later. Or if you're watching this stream after it's been lived streamed, then leave a comment. But here we are in Phuket. I'm just heading back from the elephant sanctuary. There's a truck full of people there. Don't see that every day in civilized countries, do we? Rubber plantation on the side there, on the right hand side. Yeah, these are rubber trees. Oh, something's in the way of my... What's in the way? I gotta try and move this across slightly, but it's gonna be difficult now that I've got things already set up. Right, well, excuse the little blurry thing on the edge there until I can park up properly and adjust that. More rubber trees. So you might be using tires that began their life here as... Oh, now my whole clip is coming undone. Man, this is... Oh, right. Hang on, bear with me. Yeah, it's amazing, isn't it, really, how you know, how deluded generally the public is, and how, you know, you've got to remember that there are people that, for whatever reason, hardly get out of the house. And they are totally... Well, I suppose fear is one of the main things, isn't it? You know, totally controlled by that fear. There's a guy selling... It's a drink seller in front of me. I'm not sure which way he's going, so I'll let him carry on. But he'll just do his rounds and stop off and sell drinks. I mean, yeah, it's you know, the longer you're into this, the clearer it becomes just how deluded the public is. And of course it's difficult to... I mean, it's funny, isn't it? Because, you know, the world around us is demonstrably level, stationary, and just everyday experience, science, physics, tells us this, but we've been convinced, or we were convinced when we were younger, to just accept these explanations that contradict what we see and contradict our real life experience. And of course that happens in all facets of society and stuff. Of course, it's very difficult to also think that the nanny state would not have our best interests at heart. But you just look at what happened in the UK with Mr. Hancock, and, you know, his own personal narcissistic psychopathic agenda. Now he, you know, And there's one person who had a mission, and it was just entirely selfish, trying to meet targets and stuff like that, and introduce things and deliberately scare the public. And so many people got caught up in it. And look at what they did. They ended up putting masks on, sticking who knows what into their bodies, drinking the tea. I mean, there was absolutely no, don't want to say the word in case it gets, recognized, but there was no plan dem ick. All it was a complete and utter total illusion, which sent the public into a delusional state of, problem, reaction, solution kind of thing. And, that's the thing. They knew, the people, the individuals with their own agendas knew. But they do not care. This is what it's really difficult for maybe kind of your average caring person to understand, is that there are narcissists out there that do not care one iota about you or the effects that they have. They might understand the effects of the things they do to provoke people to do things. They use that to their advantage, but they do not have those feelings of empathy and sympathy. They do not care. They only care about themselves. And when you only care about yourself, then of course you are blind to how your actions really truly impact others. And this is something that happens to all of us in life, I'm sure. When we're children, we grow up as obviously, I suppose we have a certain personality from the start, but we, as a rule, toddlers and stuff, we're very, very temperamental. We kick and scream and go into a rage if things don't go our way, or if something we've identified with, if a toy gets taken away. Yeah. In many ways, we have to learn compassion and fairness and all those things. Yeah. But I suppose some people are just born naturally narcissistic and there's nothing you can do about it. But these are the guys, that end up being the government or the authorities, that we kind of consider usually as one body rather than a collection of individuals all fighting for their own, for their own sake, doing their own thing. So, it's so easy, isn't it? You can see how easy it is to form public opinion, to create consensus and fear, and have people with this the disease that we were all worried about catching simply did not exist. The thing is, you've got these people coming halfway out saying, the tea wasn't as effective as we thought, or they said it would be. And people are realizing that, well, they're still defending the thing in the first place, and they're not admitting or realizing that oops, I just dropped my phone, hang on. There was nothing there in the first place to warrant getting masked up, closing businesses and all that. Yeah, injecting people with tea. Nothing. There was nothing, so it didn't exist. So it was it's a wonderful example of how deluded people can become, and how they will, in their own narcissistic way, a lot of the virtual signalers and the people demanding that you do this, do that, again, they weren't doing it. They weren't doing it for the better good of society. It was all about themselves and their own fear. Yeah, that's the thing. You whip these people know that you whip people up into a frenzy of fear. And it's all about self-preservation for everyone, for each individual, yeah? So it really kicks off like that, doesn't it? Hopefully the last few years has woken people up, but at the same time, you can also see that there are some people that will never, ever, ever, ever admit to themselves that they were wrong or they were bamboozled. So they won't even admit it to themselves. So you can't expect them to admit it to other people. Yeah. So there's always going to be a limit to the number of people that will wake up, because there's always going to be those. Oh shit. The one. I'm going to pull over and try and fix this. Hang on. Now I'm on a decent road. Just give me a sec. Try and sort this out. Just a second. I'm going to put it over here, different location. Hopefully, sugar. No. Hang on a sec. Bear with me. Right. Let's try putting it in this little thing here. I'm not sure if that will stay. Let's see. Sorry, I can't read the chat very well because I'm, as I said, I don't have my glasses on me. I'm going to stop and get some. Right, let's see if that holds up. You've got the view in the middle now rather than the. So, yeah. We can, and especially even in this day and age when the information is available, all sorts of people putting their expertise out there, and qualified people, but no, those who immediately got swallowed up in the official narrative will defend it. And the same goes for the globe. The same goes for, we do lead, for the most part, very deluded lives, don't we? I mean, it's we're always having to act out in certain ways. There's pressure, Don't get me wrong, people create amazing things and do wonderful things, but we're constantly being sidetracked and sidelined. Yeah? Little temple here. I like this temple, it's quite cool. I think I noticed a engraving of a scarab beetle. Yeah. Do you want to check out the temple? Want to have a look? Not sure if I can go in that way. Hang on a sec. In fact, I was filming Flat Earth videos here in my early days, back, 7 years ago. Because I used to live around this area, and let me just take you in here, have a little look-see. This is kind of the back end. This is where funerals will take place, pretty much. So hang on, I'll go up the other side. So yeah, go up here. The banyan tree there, little temple there. We'll go up here. The banyan tree over there, see? You always find banyan trees in temples. So this would be the monks' living quarters here on the left. Yeah. Chickens, dogs, chickens and dogs down there sharing food. Check it out. Hello, chickens. See, people often, you know, if cats and dogs get abandoned at the temple often. So yeah, I think I can take you around this bit. Sleeping Buddhas there, and the there's an ancient piece of wood there. Anyway, there you go. It's just kind of, you know, I won't bother getting out and stuff, but as you can see, it's kind of nice. It's a nice chilled place to come to. I like this one. I like this temple. It feels good. Feels right. You know, some temples just, you know, you just don't get. There's this lovely tree as well. You just don't get the feeling, but this one gives you a. I get a good feeling at this one. It's genuine. You know. Oops. Alrighty. I've got a whole bunch of pictures come up. I don't know what that is. Hang on. What's going on there? Hang on a sec. No. You don't want my ugly mug. I'm trying to... What? I've got all these things come up to... Bloody hell. Okay, that one. Okay, right. Okay, oops. So we'll go back out this way, the way it came in. You can see all their saffron robes, the monks' saffron robes hanging out. Yeah. Oh, cat's gonna... Are you going across my path? What are you doing, cat? Off you go then. Go on. Now they have these these rows here of, there's a whole row of these Buddha images, and they're all in the same pose, and you can see there's a bell over there that you ring. So not sure how many, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 28 Buddhas. I wonder if that's one for each day of the month. And because of course they follow a lunar calendar, right? You know, so 28 days a month. I've got a forest there. So that over there is, on the left, is the kind of funeral place, the funeral pyre. So which is a bit separate from the rest of the temple. So you'll see, it's where basically the Buddhist way is to cremate the body. Yeah, so I'll just show you quickly. So basically, if there's a funeral, then this is the place where everyone will come. You put on food and all that stuff for everyone. But there's a funeral pyre. You can see the chimney there. All right, I'll just drive you around it. Yeah. So yeah, you basically go up the steps, put the coffin in there, and it gets burned. Let's go around again. Anyway, there's always nice shade in the temples as well, So we just oh, sugar, fire engine. Let's have a quick look at the chat, if I can see it. Light my fire, okay, Jim Morrison. Yeah, all right, cool. Yeah, you carry on. I do like to catch up with the chat later on, but obviously, I've got an appointment to get to, so I'm just taking this opportune moment to catch up with you all. But yeah, I hope that was a nice little detour. I mean, we're in the land of smiles. But this is it, the Buddhist culture. I mean, of course, even though Thailand has this wonderful Buddhist culture, don't pull out. Which I have found is really a very handy guide for life, and life has become much less stressful, more aligned. The thing is, even though this, the whole culture is rooted in Buddhism, and these and many of the aspects of, or the kind of the teachings of Buddhism are at the heart of the way people interact, you still have a very bemused and deluded society. I mean, here with the whole oh shit, oh bloody hell, tea drinking. Hang on, they went all out for the tea drinking here, and they locked down the country, and it was, and people are still wearing masks, these days. So it's this amazing phenomenon of really changing people's minds, hearts and minds. And we see this with all sorts of things, don't we, that have become kind of our accepted way of life, regardless of the culture. Things like wars and the way people are just convinced to believe things are supposed to be a certain way in their culture, or that other cultures are something that they're often not. So life, whatever culture you're born into, and wherever you are, one of the biggest challenges is discovering yourself and detaching from the delusion. Man, I wish I could. I'm holding the camera because I can't. It's fallen off its thing again, and I can't stop anywhere here. As you can see, this road doesn't have anywhere to really stop. No side, no hard shoulder. So again, bear with me. what's he doing on my side of the road? He had nothing to get away from. Nuts. Yeah. All right. Rubber trees on the left. Something being built on the left there as well. Pilings going in. Phuket does get very hilly, and there are hills that I suspect, they look like, I wonder what they were beforehand. Are we sometimes looking at something like, the Bosnian pyramid, something like that? Let's try and take you this way. All right, got my camera fixed on the thing again. Hopefully it won't snap off. Right down here. These modern laundrettes are now a thing here. They're now using these proper machines, industrial washing machines, whereas a lot of people open a laundrette using just kind of like household machines with a coin slot attached to it, and of course they don't last very long. But there you go. Right, this is Phuket Prison. This is the... Is he going to let me go? All right. Okay. Prison walls here. Pretty secure. But there's a couple of thousand people in here at least. But it's become a kind of like a main prison, I think, for... Not only for Phuket, but a southern region of Thailand, so... Yeah. But yeah, isn't it amazing how easily we are we lead a false life, a life that just when we go to school, the holiday education system and all that stuff, and society in general, usually the parents, the last thing they're doing is teaching you to be yourself or to hone the skills, the innate skills that you possess. There's rarely this celebration of someone's uniqueness. I mean, I know the individual is celebrated and things like that. And that's, but there's still this kind of, yeah, we're all being conditioned to conform the moment we come out into this world. And it's, well, you see, that's the thing. At the end of the day, you have to wonder what the point is, what the purpose, what the agenda is of certain people or certain entities or whatever. What difference does it make? But yeah, I mean, I think we all, in our life experience, will have those times when we will have been controlled or by our narcissistic tendencies, the ego. I suppose it's just the process, I suppose, of truly growing up and awakening is well, first of all, the awareness of the ego and the way it kind of makes us think and do things that we wouldn't otherwise think and do. You know, of course, the ego is that thing that focuses on self-preservation. But it also, you know, the ego is kind of like attachment, I suppose. It's like an attachment, isn't it? And it can be an attachment to anything, and it's the emotion, it's an opinion. You know, obviously the ego isn't necessarily a thing in itself. It describes all these thoughts, actions, opinions that we create in our mind. And you know, the ego enjoys a bit of fear. It wallows in self-pity. It enjoys depression because it's getting recognition. Woe is me. And we can, you know, when people get depressed and stuff like that, it's usually about something just in the mind, isn't it? Or they get angry, or whatever, or they hate someone. It's obviously, you know, if someone is doing harm to you, then you know, it's a lot easier to hate them. But then again, I'm actually very grateful to a lot of these globe earth egotistical narcissistic trolls whose only aim is to really gaslight you and challenge you. Because I mean, you know, when you get into, you start looking into flat earth, you have to really think about things. You have to make comparisons. You have to look at reality and your perception of it, and discern the difference between perceptions and deceptions and reality. And you really have to kind of look into and examine the cognitive dissonance that occurs in ourselves and in others, and it's really a self-study and study of others and the physical world around us. And it's that process that opens you up, that reveals the truth, lifts the veil, as it were. If you don't embark on that process of self-exploration, then you will forever remain kind of tethered to these narratives of propaganda. And I'm sure there are no flat earthers that actually took the tea, because you know, that you know, might have been a little bit of fear to start with the whole propaganda. That might have been, oh, okay, is this really happening? But didn't take long to look at what was going on and the way people were behaving to realize that it was one big, massive psyop. And of course, what's most frightening is not what they're trying to do, but the general public that go along with it and inflict their fears on others with demands for this and that. That's the thing, the complete lack of self-awareness, the massive self-preservation, and it kind of that's the frightening thing. That's what's really, then you realize, you see, and this is it, you know, it's again, we can look at you sometimes think, oh, it's a top-down thing. Yeah, it's like, oh, this person or that person or the government or are the evil ones in charge, inflicting this on us. But actually, no, it's us. We're all just people. Even though, even and especially those people in charge, they're just like you and me, yeah? And just like any of us that might have got into some kind of corporate role, or you achieved some kind of success, a certain position of power. And I bet you, any single one of us that has been in that kind of position will have at some point taken advantage of that power, or used a bit of leverage, or kind of gotten off on it a little bit. You know, it is very difficult to stay conscious when you're in those situations. Ooh, excuse me. That was unexpected. It might get a bit fuzzy because this is a kind of low signal area, but bear with me. All right, we'll come back. Yeah. In fact, I'm just going to stop and have a sip of water. Just a second. Just a sec. Oh. It's a good time to stop, because this is just coming off in a second. A lot of these trees are probably planted for making paper. Right then, off we go again. Yeah, and this is it, you know, this life, this world, I mean, man, every day is an adventure. We have no idea, you know, how we got here, why we're here. It's all a total mystery, isn't it? I mean, this is, and when you realize that, well, you know, in some ways, anything goes. It doesn't mean that you have to become evil. In fact, you know, you'll find there are many more benefits from being benevolent and caring, or, you know, but you know, you kind of have to get the balance right as well, don't you? Yeah. You know, ego is good in some ways, because you have to have drive, you have to have ambition, yeah. You have to have, you know, some motivation to do things. But if you think about it, right, I mean, you know, the billions and billions of people in the world, for the most part, every single day, every single person is getting up and they're making a living. They found some kind of niche, some kind of thing that they do. Yeah, it's amazing, really, when you think about it. Yeah, we're all doing different things. You know, it might feel like it's our path or not our path, or you know, whatever. You know, but you know, somehow most people are getting through the day, surviving it, having some interactions, finding food, finding shelter, or, you know, maintaining their shelter, whatever. It's nuts. It's nuts, really. You know, just how diverse life is. Yet we'll often crave the mundane. Yeah. Every day can be a wild adventure. For example, just now I was just passing someone that I kind of got in the car, and I passed someone that was waiting at a bus stop. I thought, does that person need a lift? They look like they could do with a lift. But I didn't stop and ask. But, you know? Now, if I'd stopped and asked and that person wanted a lift, that would have... Who knows what would have resulted from that? A new contact, a new person, open, you know? And I think that happens in life sometimes. Things happen in life where you have a choice, you can make a choice. And, we might not often think anything of it, but you make a choice and that completely changes the course of the direction of your life. You might not even realize it at the time, or it might not have an impact until sometime later. But that's karma, isn't it? The web we weave, the trails we leave as we navigate life is quite amazing. It does become a small world sometimes, doesn't it? Because the people that, the kind of certain people become intertwined in our lives, and that may often depend on decisions that we made to do or not do something, right? Who knows if the same thing happens again and again with new lives. We just change bodies and it happens again. Who knows? But given that nobody really knows, we end up leading these ridiculous lives, don't we? It's very difficult for people to leave things be, isn't it? You look at these 15-minute cities and stuff in the UK, and it's just people trying to do stuff when all you got to do is leave everyone alone. Just stop interfering. Yeah? Stop, that's the thing, isn't it? Do something and do good for sure, but don't be a do-gooder that doesn't think. Yeah, it's just, that's the thing, isn't it? People get into a certain position or of authority, and they feel they have to do something. And so, rather than letting things take a natural course, and again, the ego comes into it, it's like, if you go back to the Wancock, he and his, someone like that, and even the politicians and the newspapers, they're just as guilty. I mean, they had a responsibility to expose this stuff right from the start, but no, they were the tools, they were the weapons of all this, and it's only now when they see that the public has kind of realized, now it's time to bring down the people that they were cheering on in the first place. So that, the media is, whatever the media, the Western media, the English media is doing now to so-called expose these guys with chat messages and stuff. It's like, you guys were just, complicit from the first place, yeah? They played a major role in propagating the fear. In fact, it was all them. It was all them, wasn't it? Yeah? And it worked. It still works. But not on everyone. Not on everyone, because there's a whole bunch of people out there that were already awake to the shenanigans and that's great. So, you know, don't be despondent, be positive, be, you know, think about, it's actually good when you think about how really the whole plan Dem-ic has failed on many levels as well, because it's woken up a bunch of people. It's made people realize that, you know, we can't be doing this again. We almost went the ways of Nazi Germany here. You know, what the heck were we thinking? As I said, many won't admit, or they might recognize these things in themselves or others, or, you know, but people will realize that they were swept up in the moment and they were deluded, and you know, fool me once, fool me twice kind of thing. So there's that, and so maybe the media knows now that these people that were on a pedestal must now be brought down. And yeah, eventually it might well become common knowledge that we don't live on a globe, and it was ridiculous that we ever thought it, because we were told by certain people, yeah, that it's this is where we live. I'm actually what I'm doing now is I'm actually doing a lot more writing. I do plan to eventually produce a book, so I'm writing some articles and I'm putting them on my Patreon account, patreon.com/PhuketWord, PhuketWord. So I'm kind of like I'm posting these articles, which kind of, so as I'm going through it, I'm trying to put into words concisely, you know, how the globe lie has been propagated, how perspective has been passed off as the imaginary curve, navigation, that kind of thing. I've done a kind of, oh no, hang on. Just a sec, guys. Hi, Kunjai. You know what, guys? Hey, listen. That's what I'm doing. I'm putting a book together that hopefully will, you know, just take people through this whole process. That's the idea, anyway. So yeah. So what I'm doing is posting these articles on Patreon, so that it will. You know, they'll eventually, and then I'll kind of edit them further and put them together. It'd be nice to get feedback on them to see what really fits. So, yeah, that's the plan, to help clarify the delusions that we're facing. So, anyway, thanks for joining me. I'll catch up with the chat later on. I've got to shoot back and send off some stuff by email to a colleague, and then. Yeah, stay tuned. We'll catch up again soon. I want to do lots of other kind of videos about actually how the perspective of curvature, blah blah blah, all that is get more clear. It's just not, you know, it's just difficult to have the time. So, thanks for tuning in. Take care. We'll catch up soon. All right. Cheers.